Hello,
Welcome. Today
Beth.
we'll
Down
sunny
under
Sydney.
House
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful AJ Straight. Hello and welcome to Down Under Interviews. I'm here with the wonderful author Katerina Dunne, who's written a wonderful book by the name of Return to Erie. So let me get this straight. You're born in Greece, now live in Ireland, and you're writing about Hungarian medieval history, fictional novels. Tell me about it.
I always liked Hungary since I was very young. And when I was a teenager, I had a Hungarian friend in Greece, and I learned the language through her. And as I grew up, I learned more and more about the country. I visited there a few times. And I realized that I could combine my love for the country with my love for medieval history. So I studied a little bit more. I actually did my master's recently. It was about 7 years ago in Dublin in Trinity College, and I wanted to write about my thesis about medieval Hungary. So I did a lot of research, and then I thought, oh, maybe I can also write a novel about it, because a lot of the English-speaking world doesn't know much about medieval Hungary. That was a superpower at its time in Central Europe. That came about.
I mean, they were sort of like the USA of the 15th century, weren't they?
Well, let's say close enough. Maybe they weren't the strongest, but they were very strong in Central Europe. At least they were very strong.
Okay, so your fictional novel, right? Return to Erie. That's the second book of the trilogy, isn't it?
It's not a trilogy. What I plan to do is write any number of books. I don't have any specific number in mind, but every one would be a different story.
Yeah.
It just happens that the first two, the second book is a continuation of the first, but it's also an independent book, so it can be read independently.
I mean, the great thing is that you're an academic, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, I have a master's.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a like mix between. I mean, I had a good look at your bio last night, and that mix between sort of the research that you can do as an academic, and Return to Erie is a pursuit of justice by a young woman. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the story?
This story is about a young woman that wants to get back what was taken from her, basically, when she was a child. And she experienced a very traumatic event in her life. And she has forgotten a lot about it. But now, when her guardians tell her who she is and where she belongs, she's from Transylvania, but she actually lives in exile in Belgrade because they had to escape her homeland. So now as she grows up, she gets more and more passionate about taking back her inheritance and clearing her father's name as well, because he was slandered and he was considered a traitor. So being a woman, it's very difficult, because especially at the time in medieval Hungary, women could not inherit property. But sometimes there were exceptions where the nobleman had the right to ask the king to treat his daughter as a son and make her an heir like a son, and then her husband basically would inherit through her. So this is what she's trying to do, but what her father, tried to do. But because she had a relative, a cousin, that's the one who stole her legacy. He had to plead for something special, but anyway, things got complicated, and he was considered a traitor and all that. And she ended up an orphan on her own in exile with her guardians that were her father's friends.
So it's a coming of age story, really, isn't it? For
It is, yeah, because she starts when she's about 12, and the story ends when she's 22.
Okay, I mean, when I was reading reading about the novel last night, the first thing that sort of like came to my mind, obviously, as soon as I saw the word Transylvania, I'm thinking, Transylvania, that's Dracula, the Impaler, right? And I think he was around at the same time, wasn't he?
He was, yes, yeah. Actually, there is a scene where she doesn't meet him, but she sees him from a distance.
Oh, really?
He just appears.
Sorry, his name was Vlad the Impaler.
His name was Vlad Dracul III.
Oh, okay.
His nickname was the Impaler. That was given not by his own people, but by his enemies.
Yeah. And I think they've actually made a movie about that. And the reason I say that about the movie is because when I was looking at the book, when I read it, I see epic. I see an epic sort of like a movie. I mean, there's battles with the Ottoman Empire and all that type of thing. And it sounded so interesting because I'll be honest, I know absolutely nothing about Hungarian history. So it's definitely something that I'd love to read. And as I say, I can see this being turned into a book. And yet, when I had a look at on Amazon, it was only 342 pages long. I was expecting it to be one of these, huge, 500 or 600 page, hardback books. So you won an award through the Historical Fiction Company, didn't you, for one of your novels?
That was the first one. It was a honorable mention in the category of historical fiction Europe. Okay,
wonderful. Congratulations. I mean, I get this picture in my mind of Xena, the warrior woman with like a big sword. That's what I see.
Yeah. Well, she does get involved in battle because she trains from a young age without her guardian's consent in the beginning.
Yeah.
But she's an archer. She develops as a mounted archer on the horse.
So what did you actually take out of the book?
Basically, I took out scenes that didn't really serve the plot.
What was your thinking back? What was your hardest scene to write?
For this book, I think it's the emotional scenes that have a lot of emotion, especially because this girl goes through so much, had got through so much in her past that now she has to overcome. When she realizes where this trauma is coming from, she remembers basically what happened to her. That's.
Did you cry while you were writing it?
I did, yes.
You did?
I did.
Okay, so what's your writing kryptonite?
I think it's what I mentioned there, that I don't have so much confidence.
Oh, okay.
And that's one thing. And the second is my the language. Although I've been speaking English for 25 years, because I've lived in Ireland for that all the time, and I use it in every day. Now I don't even remember my own language.
And over there in Ireland, what do the Irish people that obviously you're dealing with day to day, when they find out that you're a historical fiction author, What?
They're very surprised.
Very surprised.
They're very surprised. I mean, my colleagues, especially at work, because they're like, "Whoa, I didn't know that you kept that secret or whatever." No, but then, but I am also involved with a medieval armored combat group, which is the one that they dress in armor, but they fight as a sport. So I've been supporting
Okay.
them, and I wanted to do that to learn a little bit about fighting and all that, because I need that for my research. So they were very happy as well when they found out that I wrote, and they were like, "Oh yes, we want to read this." So,
Do you get involved? Do you pick up the sword and put the helmet on and?
yeah, I not the real armor, the steel armor, but
Okay.
as without the armor.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So tell me something. Second novel. What have you learned between the first novel and the second novel?
Yeah, I learned a lot of things. First of all, I think my writing has improved in the second book a lot, because I've read more about the craft of writing. I have engaged a bit more with other writers to see their feedback, to get their feedback. Also, I think I have matured a little bit more. I think the experience of writing the first book, it was too scary, the first one. So now I think I'm not that scared anymore. So
Yeah. Well, you're a published author of two novels, so there's no reason to be scared anymore.
yeah, exactly. So I think I have a bit more confidence now. And
Write for yourself, or do you write so that for the readers?
I think it started that I wanted to write the story that I had in my head.
Yeah.
And I wanted to write about Hungary, and I wanted to write about medieval history. So instead of calling it English Nest or something, which is the direct translation, I used Eerie because it's more poetic
Yeah.
as a word.
Ooh, poetic.
Yeah.
Well, Katerina, it's been amazing talking to you. I'm so interested in, as I say, after going through and having a look at the blurbs on your novels, it sounds so interesting, and I'm so ignorant of history in that part of the world. So, thank you very much for bringing your knowledge and insights to the show. And I really wish you great luck with return to the Erie. And I want to see the epic movie made about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wish to.